And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Comic Corner here on the Agents Fandom Network, here on YouTube, Facebook, and the Bad Place. My name is Damon. I'm your host. What we do is comic book news reviews and interviews. I have the full crew with us today. TJ, very good morning to you. I don't know how you wake up as early as you do because it was 9:45 on my clock when I decided to roll out of bed. Yes, people, that was 15 minutes ago. I overslept.
I'm doing good, man. We've been up for a while, so you're late to the party, man. I don't know what you got going on, but
Ugh.
we're doing good over here, man. Excited to talk about these new books.
You've been up for a while, sir. Sir, how
4
early do you
a.m.
wake up?
baby. 4 a.m. baby.
Wow.
Early bird gets the worm.
All right. AF, not morning for you. Good after evening.
Good after evening to everybody in the chat. TJ, Jam, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I've been rolling with punches over the last 24 hours, dude. So I'm just ready to get into some comics, talk about some good stuff, and yeah, let's get started.
Let's get started indeed. It is not too often, folks, where I didn't read the first book of the week, the big book of the week. It's not too often. But fortunately, we have
Slacker.
someone here who did. TJ, tell me all about Chip Zdarsky's new Captain America. Now, I think AF and I were both on when this was announced, and we liked the sound of it. For those who do not know, this is Chip Zdarsky kind of doing a world's finest in a way. We're going back in time. We're telling the very first mission Steve Rogers ever had out of the ice, which I think is very interesting. Unfortunately, as we all know, comics are not a cheap hobby. Even though I had a pretty light week this week, I was just, trying to appreciate the light week and not trying to add on to it. So, TJ, Chip Zdarsky's new run of Captain America. He is back at Marvel after a couple year absence, Batmaning it up. How was it?
I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Chip Zdarsky. I loved his Daredevil run. I liked his Spider-Man. Pretty much anything he's done, I'm a fan of. And this was no different. I really like this concept that we're going with of it being like the first. It's literally, I think, the first issue is 2 days after he came out of the eye. Like Iron Man's like, yeah, dude, you've been here for like 2 days. And I really, really like that. I think that's a very interesting time to explore not just like what Captain America means, but also Steve Rogers as a person as he, transitions into this new world. So the concept, everything, I am A1 all in for. Again, I'm a fan of Chip. I think that there's really some cool avenues this story can go down. And as someone who fell off of the previous Cap run, this is going back to like what I want from a Cap. Like if I could be selfish and be like, oh, I want this. Like this is more in tune of what I'm looking for in a Captain America story. So I'm excited.
Were there any big swings that he took off the bat?
I wouldn't necessarily say big swings. I'll say one of my favorite things I feel like this first issue really focuses on is like Cap's legacy and what that means to other characters. So, for example, without getting into too much spoilers, there's a part where he's talking to Mr. Fantastic. And Mr. Fantastic keeps calling him Captain. And he's like, oh, like, you can just call me Steve. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. Like, to be honest, my dad was like obsessed with you as a kid. And so was I. And he has this little Captain America action figure. And he's like, you're literally like the dude who fights boogeymen, like that we were taught as kids. Like, so like you being back is really like, I think everyone needs that. And that theme and like that kind of interaction between the two, I feel like is what Chip's going for. And if that's where we're going, I'm eating it up because I love that.
Back to basics indeed. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, artist Valeria Schitti, colorist Frank Martin, letterer Joe Caramagna, and editors Sydney Stubbs and Alana Smith. Now, I hate to say some spoilers in here, but it is in the solicit. So we do know what his first mission is by the solicit. how deep into this first issue do we get into that first mission without putting out any spoilers?
Very little. Like it,
A little.
just setting it up in the last couple pages. To me, what really was effective about this issue is, like I said, just kind of making it centered around Steve and where is he? What is his connection with everybody else? Where does he see himself? Because he is not. He's not trying to join the Avengers right away. He's like, y'all can do that over there. I'm doing my own thing. So, like I said, we don't even really get into this first mission thing till the back end of the book. But I don't really want to get into spoilers on that. But I'll say again, with the concept of it, I think the concept of this first mission and this first kind of villain that Cap is going to be going against is very, very interesting.
Oh, for sure. And for those who do not know and need a little extra push, it is Captain America meeting a very, very famous Marvel villain for the very first time canonically. So there's your little tease. If you want to know more on that, go read the book. TJ, last thing, what would you rate this out of 5?
Out of 5?
We'll comic geeks this. I'll give you
say
a 5.
Sorry, I'm used to 10.
Okay, we'll do it out of 10 then. I'll do it out of 10.
No, it's good. Now I'm at 5. So I'm gonna go 4.5 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really good first issue.
Pretty bang on for what the people also agree with on the interwebs. So 4.5 out of 5 for the very first issue of Chip Zdarsky's Captain America. Go check it out, folks. TJ, before I get into this, did you read Ultimate Wolverine number 7?
I not deeply, but I did. I realized when I went to go. No, this is what happened. I went to go read it, and then I realized I didn't read number 6. So I was like, "Oh man, I don't have time for all of this."
Crucial.
I know. That's why I opened up 7. I'm like, "Wait, what?" I need to go back. So I have a vague idea of what's going on. I did skim through it.
Okay, for those who are not caught up. Ultimate Wolverine is the story of what if in this ultimate universe, the Eurasian Republic, who is essentially the most evil version of magic, the most evil version of Colossus, the most evil version of Red Omega, took over all of Eurasia into one area led by the Maker. And to do so, they had a little puppet friend with them named the Winter Soldier. That Winter Soldier was Ultimate Wolverine. In issue 6, to catch DJ up, we finally were able to break that Winter Soldier protocol on Logan, and he is somewhat back to normal. I say somewhat because he's still dealing with the mental ramifications that he was under the control of the evil empire, if you will, the evil Eurasian Republic leaders, and he's still reeling with that. Him and Kitty have a really good conversation, a little bit of a fallout between him and Sabretooth, who in several issues back we saw flashbacks to the two who were very good friends like wartime, and Logan specifically tells him and says, "Hey Kane, if I ever get caught by these mothers, you're killing me, right?" And Logan's upset that Sabretooth did not live up to that promise. So the two had a bit of a falling out, even though Sabretooth to me is a bit in the right because he's like, "Hey man, we fixed you. You're back to normal. Like now you can get your revenge." So, it's one of those like points made on both sides. This is written by Chris Kondo and artist Alessandro Cabuccio, colorist Brian Valenza, letterer Corey Pettit. I really dug this issue. Yes, no kidding why. Magic is in it. Yeah, no shit. I really enjoy anything that she's pretty much in. Although you don't get too much of what this cover is. It's a bit of a bait and switch on the cover. They do go to limbo. They, as in Magic and the doctors that gave Logan the Winter Soldier protocol, they do go to limbo, and she uses it to be like, we're gonna get every last bit of information out of you before we kill you. Quite scary. The shocking thing in this book, because in this book in particular, the data pages are wildly important to read these at the ends of the issues. Very, very, very important. It was a few issues ago. It was revealed that Mikhail Rasputin, who is the oldest brother of the Rasputins, famously in Marvel lore, not a good person, by the way, was killed. Turns out he's alive and he's leading the opposition. He is leading essentially Claremont's X-Men against the evil Eurasian Republic. Don't trust him for a second. Do not trust this man. No. That man is going to double cross, whatever. All that jazz. So it's a bit of a slower issue because this is the first issue of a new arc. And I believe from what I've heard, this is a 12-issue kind of like series, since the Ultimate Universe may or may not be ending at the end of the year. Who knows? I'm trying not to think about it because it makes me sad. But a very good start to a new arc. All things considered, this is now at a point where Logan is no longer the Winter Soldier. He is dealing with the ramifications of being the Winter Soldier. And I really enjoy that because I couldn't see this continuing on with him just being a dead silent character for any longer than 6 issues was. Very cool. Very cool. I enjoyed it. I really dug it. TJ, I know you were a little confused, but hey, man,
Yes.
Welcome to the comics business. You know how it works. You can jump in at any minute. What do you think about this issue?
I liked it a lot, but I have to say I do disagree with you in that I kind of wanted no talking, just killing machine, a Winter Soldier for a little longer. I can't lie. I was really enjoying that. But if it had to end, I mean, this is a great transition. Like you said, great transition into this new arc from where we started. And the reveal at the end, like you said, of whatever the hell his name is, the Rasputin brother.
Mikhail Rasputin.
Yeah, that adds a whole other layer to this whole thing that I wasn't really expecting. So I love this series, man. I love the Ultimate Universe, and I really hope that those things that people are saying in the ether are not true, because I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I don't want it to end either. I want Hickman to tell his story, and hopefully, maybe after his story is done, we can play around in this universe a bit longer. That's kind of all I'm asking for there. Because even if, like, let's say they band together and they defeat the Maker, then it comes into a what next. And I would love to see this universe continue to what next. Maybe kind of led by Dennis Camp, who's been killing everything with the Ultimates and the Ultimate Universe and the world building at large. I've really been digging.
Everything. Give Camp everything.
Not everything. He's a busy man.
I don't care.
But I've been digging this book. Look, I am very much in a huge Magic kick over the last 6 months, 7 months or so, however long it's been. It's been a fun ride. It is cool seeing a Magic who has essentially completely accepted everything with Limbo and is like, nah, I'm the queen here and I'm evil. Kind of fun, little scary, but kind of fun. TJ, in this book, we are kind of introduced to a lot of different Claremont X-Men characters, if you will. We have seen the Jean Grey tied up with the Xavier brain over. It's wild imagery.
That shit was terrifying, man.
Crazy. Is there any other X characters? I know we have Ultimate X-Men. That is very much its own thing. Are there any other characters you'd like to see this book bring up? Because this is more of your traditional X-Men book with the characters and some of the themes that they bring up.
Have you seen Banshee yet?
I do not think so.
That would be cool. He's an original Claremont. Or who's that weird bean looking guy? I'll get that guy. From the Grant Morrisons. What is it, Goop or something?
Oh, Goop.
Is that his name? It looks like a booger or like a little bean.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think it's a beam, like a light beam.
No, a bean, like a
bean
legume, if you would.
A bean with an N. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I do.
Yeah,
like
that'd be
those
fun.
Too.
I want to see a weird one. Bring in the weirdos.
I like to see Ultimate Warlock.
Ooh, that would be good.
That could be crazy.
Do we
Kind
have
of throw a little
Juggernaut yet?
virus. I haven't seen him.
That would be cool. Juggernaut versus Colossus, classic battle, dudes. That I think I cracked it. I think I cracked the code.
All right. So there you go. Ultimate Wolverine number 7. I enjoyed it. I'll continue the. No. I'll continue the out of 5 rating here. I gave it a 4.5.
Wow.
Pretty high for me.
That is really high.
But you give me a book with magic in it. I'll like it. I'll be honest. Let's move on. Thor, the Immortal Thor, number 25. Even an immortal can die. How much longer are we? Did this happen? Is this issue?
It's happened. It happened.
Did it happen and go? Did it come and go? What happened?
Well, I don't know how much spoilers I
give
can
it
get
into me.
for
I'm
the
not reading this
people.
book.
Yeah,
Tell
I would
me.
say you're not reading it. I feel like no one's talking about this book. So I don't know if anyone's reading it besides me and Jam. I know Jam's reading it, but I mean, yeah, he dies. He dies. Classic. Loki stabs him in the back, right? You know what I mean?
Wow, how literal.
What's really cool though is, and we've talked about this before, I'm not a huge fan of the death stuff just because we all know everyone's coming back, but Al does it in a very interesting way where he does bring back a lot of things from Thor's history and brings it together as for me, a satisfying explanation of how and why this death is occurring. And he is then reborn, if you would, as Sigurd Jarlsson, I think is how you pronounce it, which is a deep cut from the Walt Simonson run. There was a time when he was in disguise, Clark Kent style, as a construction worker named Sigurd. And he's just a massive dude amongst regular people. And they're like, yeah, he's from Brooklyn or whatever. So but he has no idea who he is. So he genuinely believes he's this Sigurd guy in Immortal Thor, not the Simonson run. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, like I said, I was a little okay, seriously, we're going to kill Thor again. But Al did it in a good way. I think he really, like I said, brought together a lot of things. Old threads, stuff from Donny Cates' Thor run that I am a huge fan of, kind of brought some loose ends, tied up some loose ends from there. So yeah, I mean, again, I was a little skeptical of this whole, killing Thor and everything, but I think Al wrapped it up nicely. And I'm more excited now for this new Mortal Thor series that we have coming. Because I'll be honest, when I first saw that, I kind of gave a little oof. But I'm more excited now.
Okay. It's kind of funny. Now we have several occasions where a character dies. They immediately come back to life somehow and are now just kind of a different person among the people of the streets. If I had a nickel for every time that happened, TJ, we'd actually have a decent amount of nickels.
Yeah, which is why I can't really be mad at it, because it's paying homage and hearkening back to some of those old, when Thor was Donald Blake, and again, when he was the construction worker, we're bringing that back, but with all of the history and everything that's happened since then. So, again, part of me at first was I don't know, but I think it was done well.
So if if Thor is died, technically, are we going to Doctor Strange this and throw a technicality in there and be like, all right, congrats, Loki, your brother died, that makes you the new Allfather?
Nah, nothing, bro. Loki is firmly the Scold right now, the what's it called, God of Stories, which I guess we'll get into a little spoiler. So interesting thing is Donald Blake, Thor's old identity. There was this whole thing in Donny Cates' run where he comes back as this crazy serial killer or whatnot. But what's interesting is that he brings Donald Blake back, and after all that happened, Loki made him the new God of Lies. So Donald Blake is now the God of Lies, what Loki's old title. and you could see them as brothers. So it brings a really that's what I mean. Like Al's weaving some very interesting things together and like bringing these breadcrumbs. And as a Thor fan, it's very fascinating.
I would love to see Matt Murdock and Thor in a room together because they have a lot of story crossover things.
Literally.
We have the Mike Murdock thing. Mm-hmm. We have Matt dying, coming back as a priest, not knowing who Daredevil.
I want to say Donald Blake and Murdock were like cool too. Like they had not like they weren't like best friends, but I'm pretty sure they like had a history together. Hey Chip, if you're hearing us, man, if you're tuning in because of Captain America, I got a pitch for you.
All right, Thor. Before we leave, give me a rating out of 5 because that's apparently what we're doing this episode.
I'll go a 4. Solid 4 for me.
Solid 4 for Thor. Love it.
4 Thor. And my dog just came up again.
AF. This is the summer of Superman. A week from today. You probably too, will be seeing Superman for the first time. TJ, you probably as well. We're all very excited for this. Unfortunately, for myself, I had to drop a lot of my polls because, my arms are getting a little heavy. And Superman just kind of became one of them. That became a trade book. I've been really enjoying this series. It's been created by Joshua Williamson. This is Superman number 27. And there are some absolutely wild implications here in this issue. Tell me all about it.
Man, you know that I've been enjoying Josh Williamson from the offset in this book. His writing has been amazing, but I think this specific arc that he's been busy with, it's probably the best out of the lot. The guy like this he's busy telling the story of the Red K with Superman being enraged. And in the previous issue, Lex Luthor sort of broke out of prison with Dr. Farm and Graft. That whole thing happened. It ended with Madeline Moonlight coming to sort of save the day because Clark Kent or Superman, he was being taken over by this Red K. So dude was super angry. He was probably going to kill gazillion people. And this issue sort of explains why Madeline came. It was all Lex. He orchestrated the whole thing so that Superman can take down Farming Graft once and for all. He knew that Superman's rage would get the better of him. He knew that he's going to be enraged. That's why he sent Madeline Moonlight there as well, because using her gun, she cured him. He's no longer infected with the Red K anymore. Dude is a calm soul once again. He's the Superman that we know, but Superman still does not trust Lex Luthor. Lex goes back to Mercy. He tells her that he's not the person that she thinks he is. He's turned over a new leaf. At the beginning, he wanted to sort of manipulate Superman. He wanted to get the better of him, do his bidding and stuff like that. But over time, he sort of got to know Superman much better. He started feeling some empathy for him in terms of him being that orphan coming to Earth, like not really having anybody, and then like making Earth his home. So it seems as if he's turning over a new leaf. I don't know if that is like, I mean, we've said this before over the past like year and a bit, that Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor. Like he's you think that he's going to be a good guy, but chances are that he's probably not. But this time, like, it seems like it's going to happen. He goes away. He tells Mercy that she can either come with him or she can stay here and take Supercorp. She stays there. She takes Supercorp. She changes it back to LexCorp. So LexCorp is back with all of the resources of Supercorp, with all of the tracking, all the super people, all of those things. So there's some small little breadcrumbs over there, but this is fun. The epilogue right at the end sets up the new story with the sort of dark side legion of superheroes. They have the Time Trapper, Doomsday. They have him captive still. They have Booster Gold captive, and now they are going to go after Superman. So yeah, there is a lot that's happening over there. And dude, I'm so excited. This book itself just like opened the doors wide open for everything that we thought could possibly happen.
So Darkseid's Legion has Booster Gold, which was like the very, very first all-in flip book
Yep.
reveal. They hive the Time Trapper, which is Eve, good guy Darkseid, right?
He's chilling at the end of time. The dude is just
Yeah.
trying to die, essentially. He's trying to get people to kill him. Because he's like, I can't die. Please just put me out of my
too old
misery.
for this
What a
shit.
metaphor.
I'm so done with this place.
What a metaphor. So do we know? I mean, we've kind of seen a little bit visually who the Legion are, but do we know who this Darkseid Legion is, like character wise?
Yeah. So Phantom Girl is there. There's three of them. I can't remember who the other two are. But Phantom Girl is the one that's chatting most of the time. Or not Phantom Girl and Satin Girl, yeah.
I was
But
trying to quickly look
I'm-
up.
I'm so excited for what this else. If I'm gonna rate it, I would rate it a 9 out of 10, which would be a 4.75. But I feel like 4.75 is very high for a comic in a 5-star, so I'm gonna go 4.5.
Okay. So stay tuned. It's all happening. The universes are somehow starting to slowly merge together, slowly having an absolute crisis on our hands. Oh boy. Trademark it now. Justice League.
Clip
You know
that.
who they're going to need when we have an absolute crisis AF? An unlimited Justice League. This is Justice League Unlimited number, I think that says 6 on my screen. We are
8.
yesterday 8. God dang it.
Yeah.
We are yesterday part 6. That is a lot of back and forth between this and World's Finest. Quickly, for
Yep.
those who do not know, what is the We Are Yesterday mini event, little crossover event between this and World's Finest, and what happens in this issue?
Yeah, man, this is just Guerrilla Grodd trying to get the Legion of Doom from yesteryear before they were defeated by their various Justice Leagues and get them all together, try to identify where their weaknesses were and push through all of that and beat the Justice League. That is what We Are Yesterday is about. This is the final issue of We Are Yesterday. And as you can see here in the cover, there's Batman Beyond. We have Aquaman, the 1995 Aquaman with
TJ, where are you?
I
was
TJ in
just
the
watch
chat.
for
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Oh, I was
Terry
like, I'm right
McGinnis.
here.
Terry
What?
McGinnis is here. But yeah, like they are all we have all of these different heroes plucked out of different times and different universes. That was all done by Airwave. And yeah, I mean, long story short, the new Legion of Doom, they are defeated by Airwave, who sacrifices himself. So the dude dies for real. Redemption arc completed. And I mean, at the end of it all, Mr. Terrific feels the worst out of everybody in the Justice League because he's like, the dude's an orphan. The kid needed us. He called this place home. I should have noticed the signs. I should have been there for him. So, yeah, he's just like going on this mission now to try and find if Airwave is actually dead. And yeah, he's joined by Black Lightning and I think it's Martian Manhunter. I think the three of them go out and try to find out where he is.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team. If you need anyone to
Yeah.
find you, I would gladly take those 3 to come find me.
Yeah. But because of everything that happened, all the tachyon energy that they used, guess what, guys? All of these other heroes from the other times, they can't go anywhere. They are stuck in the mainline continuity. And do you know how many times they said the word crisis in the last few pages? I was like, come on, you guys aren't even hiding it. They're like, we have to like find a way to get home, but now we are stuck in this crisis. oh my God, when are we gonna get out of this crisis?
Can't throw
It's
a
gonna
That is
happen
synonym
actually
in
soon,
pretty
there.
guys.
meta. I trust Mark Wade on that. That's pretty meta. That's pretty funny.
It's gonna happen soon. So yeah, I mean the last couple of pages is sort of an epilogue, and it has the Time Trapper and the World Forger because the Justice Society was looking for the World Forger as well. So yeah, I think it's all coming together over there. And one of the things, like when they defeated Grodd, because Grodd was consumed with all of this omega energy. So he essentially had this huge omega symbol on his forehead, and the moment they removed it from his body, it sort of created this rift again in the exact same spot that Darkseid disappeared back in the All-In special. So coming full circle, guys, we
It's
are
all
probably
coming
going to
together.
see absolute crisis within the next year.
It's all
Calling it.
coming together. And when you're having an absolute crisis, you might as well just like have I mean, that is very classic crisis where you have all these heroes and characters spanned throughout space and time all in one place. Like,
Yep.
that is the most obvious setup to a crisis, as if they didn't say it 8, 9, 10 times in this issue. So it's coming, like you said. It's coming. Thank you for keeping us updated with it, 8F. Much appreciated, because these last 2 issues seem very important to that eventual saga coming to an end. Last book of the week. It's my Boom Studios book. This is Grimm, created by Stephanie Phillips, Flaviano. This is Grimm number 23. This is a book that has become a quarterly book, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I really love this book. This follows a character. Like, look, I won't beat around the bush. If you like the idea of time being like a living entity, of death being a living entity, of the end, the concept of the end being a living entity, reapers and all that stuff. If you like that and you don't want to be written by a piece of shit, and instead a really cool writer who really likes what they're doing, and again is a really cool writer and not a piece of shit, go read this book.
Well
Because it's
said.
cool.
I can get on board with that.
Because it's cool. I really love this book. This issue, I could feel like we are starting to come to the end of this saga with Jessica Harrow, who is the protagonist of this entire series. She is, spoilers, I hate to say spoilers when we're 23 issues in, but I have to. She is the daughter of death. She is the rightful heir to essentially the Grim Reaper's throne, because there's a bunch of little Reapers, but there is one, the Grim Reaper. And right now, no one in the world is dying because death has died and was taken away by the end. I really dig it. This entire issue is one of those, you get 3 questions and you have 3 answers between her and the end to try to figure out what she wants to do with her life. What is her life? What is her purpose? And in the end, all pun intended, it reminds me a little bit of Strange Academy. And I say that because what I love about Strange Academy from Marvel is it tackles the idea of destiny and who you are supposed to be and who you are meant to be, but who you really are. And in that book, I have to go into spoilers for that, so close your ears if you don't want to hear anything about how Strange Academy is and how it ends. It's about the child of Dormammu, who is destined in a way to be just like his father. And then you have his friend, Emily Bright, who is an incredible little character who has the entire world in front of her. Well, flip-flop those angles, because guess who's the real hero of the story and guess who's the real villain of the story? What you're destined to be is not what's set out in front of you. It's what you make it. So Emily, unfortunately, kind of goes towards the dark side with Dormammu, and Doyle Dormammu goes towards the light side to help prevent all the evilness and to try not to become his father. And you have a little bit of that here with Jessica Harrow being like, I don't want to be death. I am both death and life. It is very confusing because her mother made a deal with life. Yes, life has a living embodiment too, because why wouldn't it in this book? And there is a little bit of time travel, timey-wimey stuff because she has a relationship with time, and it can kind of go back and forth, and you see maybe some real versions of her, some not real versions of her. And in the end, the decision she comes down to is she just wants to be her. So the end reveal of this is we are starting to see a reality, a world that she's living in where she's pretty much just mortal, starting to get some gray hairs, starting to bleed, things she's never experienced before. And what does that mean for the underworld going forward? Because there's still no death. Kind of a problem. So there you go. That's Grimm number 23. I've really been enjoying it. I love Stephanie Phillips as a writer. I love the world that she's building here. The vibes are just peak vibes. Flaviana's art, huge credit towards that. I love it. Go check out Grimm. It was a very hot book off the shelves when it first started out. So you can find trades of it everywhere. I think we're like 3-4 trades deep. So go check it out, gentlemen. I urge you to as well, especially if you like all those concepts and don't want it to be written by a piece of shit. Very important.
You know I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, so I'm definitely catching up. We read the first, or I read the first couple for sure, but I definitely got lost somewhere because I have no idea how we're at 23 issues.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, but Stephanie Phillips freaking rips, man. I feel like I'm no expert, but I feel like she's got a little niche going with like Phoenix and Grimm, like these like big brain, like universe concepts, like the Phoenix's creation, this lady's time. I love it. I love that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I think she said I posted like she's very active on social media, and I think she said something along the lines of she's been told that this book is the most her in a way. So I can definitely see that if you follow her on socials and all that stuff. Now, while we wait for AF to kind of find himself lost in the void, it appears, TJ, let's talk about our books of next week. Yes, I don't have big slides this week. I repeat, I woke up about 25 minutes ago, which mathematically doesn't make sense because this podcast has been going on for 40 minutes. Yeah. But you know what I mean.
Come on, man, get it together.
Let's talk about our books for next week. Let's talk about some books for next week because we had a very light week this week. Thank God. I have 5 books on tap for next week, TJ. I have Absolute Superman. I have Hello Darkness from Boom Studios, which I always enjoy. I have Magic number 7. I have Ultimate Spider-Man number 2. Well, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion number 2.
I was like, what?
And last and certainly not least, this is a weird little Thor tie-in because remember how Roxxon bought Marvel Comics in canon? Mm-hmm. Well, we have a Roxxon unauthorized issue coming out next week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Marvel swimsuit issue created by Roxxon.
That's hilarious.
Unauthorized version. So that issue is out next week. So go out. There's a lot of different covers for it. Go crazy, kids. TJ, what do you got for next week?
Thankfully, thank the All-Father, I only have 3 books next week. And I have Absolute Superman, like you. I also have Doctor Strange of Asgard, which I got to catch up on that. I really liked the first issue, and I have just been... we talked about this last week. I am just drowning in comic book stories. So, and then Uncanny X-Men, another one I need to catch up on, but I really have been enjoying. But thankfully, that's it for next week. Well, and Ultimate Incursion, I just don't have it on this freaking app, so I'm sure there's going to be some surprises for me too.
Oh, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. We're not at Ultimate Incursion yet, TJ.
Yeah.
AF, what books you got next week?
So the books from this week is Secret Six number 5, 1 more issue or 2 more issues. I think 5 and 6 are the last 2. I can't remember. But yeah, Secret Six, number 5, Spider-Gwen, the finale came out this week, so I'll be reading that over the weekend sometime. And yeah, like you guys, Absolute Superman next week as well. And then Trinity, the daughter of Wonder Woman, number 2.
All right. We have a little bit of extra time. I'm thankful for it because I just wanted to chat with you very quickly about a little thing coming out next week. It's Superman week next week, everybody. We're all very excited. I mentioned it earlier. I'm excited. You're excited. We all have a lot of high hopes, a lot of high expectations for the very first movie in the new DCU. AF, before we go into it, because by the time our podcast comes out next week, like we'll be like going to see the movie. I know we'll be talking about how excited we are. But I want to do it this week instead. What are you most looking forward to in this movie? What are you most hoping to see in this movie? I know we've seen a lot of trailers. We kind of a little bit know what to expect in a way. But what are your hopes for the first movie in James Gunn's DCU now that we are a week away?
Yeah, so like the thing is, James Gunn said that this Superman has been operating for a while. So he's sort of embedded into his society already. People have accepted him. So it's not like building something from the ground up. So I think that's pretty cool. But I just want to see a nice cohesive story. I know that the fans are going to absolutely love it and they're going to drown out all of those other people. But yeah, that's all that I'm hoping for. I'm just hoping for a nice cohesive story that comes together quite nicely and just sets the groundwork for everything else that the DCU is going to be accomplishing.
TJ, what about you? 7 days away from a brand new DCU officially into the movies.
Y'all just reminded me I need to get my tickets. I gotta do that after
Oh
we get
no!
off of here. Well, luckily our theater over here is pretty like low key. We don't typically have issues getting tickets, but yeah, that reminds me I gotta do that. But I am so excited. I'm super excited. I mean, like every other nerd that has ever existed, the Christopher Reeve Superman was essential in my upbringing. And I honestly, I've only watched the first trailer, the one where like Crypto's pulling on his cape. I haven't watched anything else. I really don't know what to expect from this movie, but I just want Superman doing Superman stuff. Like that might sound weird, but like I want saving people. I did see a quick little clip of him fighting that like big monster thing. I love that. Like I want things to show how powerful he is, but also another thing I really get from the trailer is like the humanity of Superman. Like to me, that's my favorite part. I people have said this forever, but Superman's the most human of everyone. Like that's what makes him so like he's an alien, but he's like the most human person of all of us. And I really feel like that's kind of what this movie's hitting on, at least for me. And that's really what I want from it. Something that makes me feel good, something that makes me feel like there's good people out there. And like you said, ushering in this whole new DCU. I haven't even really thought about that aspect of it. I've just been so focused on I just want a good new Superman thing. Like it just feels like it's been so long.
Superman's fighting like that clip that you spoke about, like when he's fighting that monster kaiju, and in the background on one of the billboards, or not even a billboard, it's like a streaming board. But yeah, it's the news is playing, and Christopher Reeves, the late Christopher Reeves' son, he's presenting the news over there. So it's nice to see James Gunn doing small little things like this. He just gets the lore, he gets the character, and yeah, I'm excited.
It's a great way to do a nod to past movies, especially the movie. Christopher Reeve's Superman is, with all due respect to everything that came out after that, I know there's a lot of Henry Cavill fans, but Christopher Reeves is like the Superman for so many
believe
people.
A man can fly, man.
That makes me happy that his son is acknowledged in a way, like that family especially is acknowledged in a way. The DCU has been very interesting in how it's been presenting itself because as they've been putting out, it is more than just the movies. We also have the shows, but it's also more than just the movies and the shows. Because speaking of Christopher Reeves, that documentary was under the DC Studios brand. So it is more than just your typical MCU, if you will. You have your actual documentaries and stuff, which I would love to see Marvel Studios tackle. I know there are some Marvel Comics documentaries on Disney Plus. So I'd love to see them like maybe put some under their own brand title, whatever, get some more people to come in and watch that. I think that'd be pretty neat. I'm not to repeat all to the both of you, but I feel the same way. I'm really excited for a hopeful Superman. I have an entire shelf over here of just a bunch of Superman stuff. According to my Comic Geeks, I think it's actually the most collected character I have, which is crazy. But that's just because there's so much of Superman. Like the other characters I really love, there's not a whole lot of them, but there's just so much of Superman, and he's just the American icon that became a global icon because he became the symbol of hope. He became the symbol of everything that people should be, even when he is not a human himself. So I am really looking forward to this movie. I hope it tackles all of that. I know I'm going to laugh. I know it's going to have some heartfelt moments. Superman for All Seasons, we did our big round table reading of it. That was an influence on this movie. I think more so an influence probably when he's like sitting down with like Pa Kent and just like discussing humanity. Probably I could see that that specific aspect having an influence. I'm just really looking forward to it. I hope it's good. There's a lot riding on it. I think the movie is going to do very well. I think this movie is going to do very, very, very well.
I know that I'm a very
yeah.
easy critic, especially compared to someone like Damon, but I feel like there's no reality in my mind of where this movie is like bad. Like maybe it might not like, blow me away, but I cannot imagine how it will be like just like bad. I don't know. Like I said, it just all the ingredients are there, I feel.
I'm curious about general audience's reactions to seeing some maybe, I don't want to say cheesy Superman, but like Silver Age Superman stuff. And by that, I mean like the automatons. By that, I mean like some of the spaceships and weird Superman sci-fi stuff. I'm curious to see how audiences react to that in particular, especially with this being the first movie. So that's like the only thing where I'm going to be like, okay, if audiences can handle a bit of the weird, a bit of the silly with their Superman, I think we'll be cooking. Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off.
So we've already seen small things like that, like things within the Fortress of Solitude. All of his androids. I think Calyx is his android's name in the Fortress. We've seen that in Smallville. We've seen it in Superman and Lois as well. So those are really good pieces of media for the fans to sort of get into the whole sort of Superman lore, the proper Superman lore. And I think that if people took well to that, then they will take gladly to this new Superman movie. The projections as well in terms of the financial side, like those have been astronomically high. So I think that they are expecting cinemas to be sold out for a while. And yeah, like the first reviews as well from people have been I think last night people got to watch the first half hour of Superman, and I think the lowest rating was like an 8.9 that I saw on social media. So I mean, people are enjoying what they've been seeing, and I think it's just going to get better moving forward.
Hopefully, I really hope so. Everything I see looks great. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, trying to stay settled in, not get myself too excited, get my brain going too much, because as you'll hear probably on Friday, we'll sit down for our Ironheart reviews of episodes 4 through 6. And maybe I got too excited on some things.
I haven't finished yet. Don't spoil for me.
Oh, I won't. But maybe I got a little too excited. Maybe there wasn't actual game-changing MCU ramifications on a global level. Maybe not.
I have notes.
Still fun show. we will be chatting about that, I assume, on Friday. If not, some other time soon. But keep an eye out on the channel for our full breakdown. We have a lot of things going on here on the Agents of Fanel channel. We have a Love Island podcast, because that's just the biggest thing of the world right now. That drops on Wednesdays. Last night is when it drops, so go check that out. We also have our regular Agents of Fandom podcast as well, and a Bear podcast for the hit TV show, the hit streaming show on Hulu, The Bear. So go check all those out if you are interested. As always, gentlemen, thank you so much for having the time on this lovely Thursday morning. I'm going to go get a coffee.
As you should.
Sleepy. I'm going to go get a coffee. Gentlemen, thanks again. As always, everyone, go support your local comic shops. Go to comicshoplocator.com to find the nearest comic shop near you. Until next time, folks, we'll see you next Thursday. Make sure you go read magic. Peace.